When I came home in '80, Neckbone was full-fledged gone. When I say gone, you know, this kid walked up on the door. He had on the black trench coat, long hair, and he say, "What's up?" Cause I'm Neckbone, and I was like, "Wow." And from that day, his loyalty to the hood, his structure, his whole insight about the Raymonds was just in his heart. He is to me I believe he is the founder of the Tongan. His family really, are the founders of the Tongan Crips. You know, and we love them dudes. His family, oh man, but the thing is, man, with us as Raymonds, we had our battles. Trust me. We don't went to war with damn near basically everybody on these streets. But our main war was with Bloods. We wasn't into fighting Crips. If you fucked with us on some bullshit, then the homies was gone. These kids was gonna come. Wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But our thing was with Bloods. Because it was like, to us, man, the fight with me. And I think I pushed it over on the T and Neckbone and a few other dudes that color red around 102nd Street. That ain't working. And it was like a
ran that shit up.
When you see it was like a bull. You know, I don't care who you is. Don't come. I'm visiting my auntie. Well, you can take those shoes off, partner. But that's the way it was, man. And then the Denver Lanes, they got at us because that was they were supposed to be combative. If they wasn't combative, then we would have just walked over the dudes. So when you got them and then the Crenshaw Mafias and then what did they call themselves?
They clicked up.
They clicked up and they called themselves what? The
Mafia Lanes.
Mafia. They was Mafia Lanes and.
Hey, I just thinking about a situation where they didn't really take us serious. I say the Crenshaw Mafias when they was formed. The boy Kenny Boy had a white like a old school wagon back in the early '80s. He used to, I give him his credit. He used to come through there. He'd come down 102nd one day, they about 15 deep in this wagon, and they jumped out. So they didn't jump out shooting, so we started heading towards them like, what's happening? He pulled out this machine gun, and he had this machine gun for years. It looked like an M16, but he must have never had bullets because he never shot it. And as we get closer, they'll jump in the car and they'll take off. I can remember them days where they would come through there, and when they seen how serious we was, busting back and retaliating, we had them dudes scared to come down 102nd, 104. They would ride around the outskirts. Like the homie said.
Like in the early 80s, before I got out, this is when these dudes was coming through there.
Yeah, this is around the time when Rudy got killed. I mean, what was Sleepy's brother name? See, they came down 102nd one time, the Mafias, and they killed somebody. They thought they killed one of the homies because there was a lot of homies standing out, and there was another dude on a bike, and he was shot in the head. He was killed.
Sleep from A-Tray Gangster brother.
It was Big Sleepy brother from A-Tray Gangster.
That
was in the early 80s.
80.
About 83.
No, 82.
Yeah, it could have been about 82. 83.
Or 81.
It was in the early 80s. And that's when we really, shit got real. Because we hadn't really, that was one of the first times I just seen somebody get killed right there, right while I was and seen it. So after that, that's when we really knew we had to send a message and let these dudes know, don't come down our street, don't come down there shooting. They probably got happy, thought they killed one of us, which they didn't. They killed an innocent person. Wasn't even a gang member, But with that said, 102nd's always been secure. These dudes, they talk that stuff now. This is a new age. Ain't nobody over there no more. Anybody can go down 102nd Street right now. That's nothing. But when we were there, it wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. Like a lot of these neighborhoods that they be talking, like the homie said, our main focus was all Bloods. We were surrounded, period. But I really never remember having a problem with Center Parks. I never even knew none. I remember the boy E.T. Mama used to do my curls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to go get my hair done at his mama's shop on Prairie. For any of them to see this, they know that, you know. Anyhow, I can remember one day we walked about 15 deep. We walked from 102nd and Prairie all the way to Crenshaw and 104th. It was like a bad day for us. We walked right in on a meeting. This is when the mafias and the lanes first got together.
Was that like 1980?
We got bats and sticks.
Was that like 1980?
It was about 80, 81.
We
come through that area. That's when John Boy got beat down. A lot of the homies got shot. We came up on a meeting. We see about 100 Bloods in the alley. It's only about 15 of us, and we didn't stop. We kept pushing forward. I kept telling homies, come on, let's go. They jumped in 2 cars, and it was cats running on the side of the cars. The cars were driving slow, and they was coming on the sides of the cars. And I happened to see one of them with a pistol in his hand. So I told the homies, back off, they got guns. We had no guns. We went up there with sticks and knees. The dudes start busting. They shot about 3 of the homies. Little Bone got shot that night. Little Devil got shot that night. They beat John Boy with a neck from a dirt bike. They had a neck from a dirt bike on a stick.
Damn.
He looked like the Elephant Man. They catch the boy, Baby OG, jump over the gate. They hold his arm. They stab his arm up with an ice pick or something. Stab him about 50 times in his arm. They hold him up. He couldn't get over the gate. The boy, they called himself Baby OG. He was one of the ones who was murdered, and, you know. Anyhow, that's another story. But it was like a bad day because they all had all these weapons and guns, and we didn't know. We didn't even know they had clicked up with the lanes, and they was super deep. And they was hollering, Mafia Lane. And I don't think that shit even lasted long because, you know how that shit go. But that was one day I remember, they kind of got at us. But, like I say, them dudes, I never really remember having a lot of problems with them dudes because, when I was gangbanging, I was real with my shit. I always had a gun and maybe 2. So it didn't really matter to me. I did my shit. And half you niggas don't even know me. I remember Spaghetti, Taco, A-Bay, all of them. I was one of the ones who went to Inglewood High School in 1980. Got kicked out of Lenox High School because my brother cut a Mexican, a Lenox 13, across his chest with a box cutter. And they kicked us all out. Sent me to Inglewood High School. Me and Ronnie Berry. Anybody know Ronnie Berry? That's the homie RC.
RC.
We was 2 Crips going to Inglewood High School. I had girls doing my work. I was too busy in there, scared to death. I got a pistol on me. They deep as fuck at Inglewood High School. Anybody that went there in the 80s, know. And any blood to see this is no, I'm telling you the God's truth. All you niggas hung on the island in front of Inglewood High School. After, during, lunch, after school. That's where y'all was all at. Tony Brown with the tailor-made pants on and the perms back in the 80s. I remember all that spaghetti. All you niggas used to be out there. And I used to look at all of y'all. And I remembered all y'all's faces, and none of you dudes knew me. And then one day, little cross-eyed pumpkin, he pulled a shotgun on me in front of Big 5 Sporting Good on Market in Manchester at the bus stop. He said, I know you're a Crip. If you come back to school, I'm going to kill you. And I said, I ain't coming back. And when he walked off, I laughed because he's so cross-eyed. I said, he probably would miss if he would have shot at me. But I stopped going there because I knew the jig was up. It was too many of them. But, I give the families their props. Out of all these Inglewood niggas, I give the families their props because that was our enemy.
Tell me about the Doty Crips.
I really can't say a lot about them. I really never done of them.
Well, only one.
Skull.
Skull was from Doty. Skull was from
Doty.
And what was the other boy name? The one that didn't want to turn.
Yeah, you thinking about rap.
No, the nigga
from Doty. Oh, Rumpelstiltskin.
No,
he didn't want to change. I was a tall nigga at the sister named Mimi.
Yeah, the nigga didn't want to change.
His name was Rumpelstiltskin.
That nigga didn't want to turn.
Rump didn't want to change.
We had turned the rest of them, and he didn't want to turn. He was like, no.
The bad hung out.
But he stayed on the fence for a few years. Then he turned deuce.
Yeah.
He ended up turning 10 deuce.
When did our Tadena block come into play?
Oh, Altadena, they always been there, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna give Altadena their love and shit because after some shit went on out there with the homies and shit, Big Capone took a fall and shit, and a couple of homies tumbled behind him, Baby Wayne and them. It was only like 3 homies out there. It was me, Raymond Snag and mother homeboy Slang. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't have no motherfucking choice but to smash up to the block and shit. You know, we was always outnumbered and shit. So we didn't want to kick it in the hood by ourselves. So we started smashing up to the block. And we posted up on the block and we sniped niggas from the block and shit. And sometimes they thought it was the block, but, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, they knew it was us. Because
we got different generations, see. And the only thing about me, from my generation, a lot of my homies, they was in prison. They did 25, 30 years. Some still locked down. So me, myself, I ran with, when I got out of prisons, I kept running with every generation because I was just stuck on gang banging. Yeah. I hung out with kids like I was a kid. See, because my thing was, I'm not going to ask you to go do something, and I'm not going to go do it. See, or I'm going to go do something, and I'm going to show you something. See, so when T was talking, he was speaking in generally in the early 80s. And when I got out in 1980, I got out, not in the beginning, I got out November 20th, 1980. I walked out of YTS at 4:30 on a Thursday, right out the board in the morning. My mama picked me up, and we was back in the hood. When I got to the house, my first focus was, I'm going to the park. So I was in the hood. So it's like, bam. So then I'm on 102nd, and I'm seeing these kids. When I say kids, these dudes, I mean thick. So I sat them down, and I said, look, homie, we got to be one. We got to love each other. You got to be for me, not against me. So we were strong on 102nd Street. Everybody was selling drugs, making money, all day long, man. From the time that I got out of YA and went to prison, and then when I did go to prison, I came back home in August of '84. They was buck wild on the Dukes. Crack was like Thriller. We had to let Inglewood know, man, we was for real. We couldn't be a soft Crip set in that city. And man, come on, man, they done ran over us out there during that time because the families were strong. I mean, they were strong enough because they was fighting 3 Crip sets at that time. They was fighting the Rolling 60s, the A-Tray Gangsters, and us. And any other Crip that they ran into. Believe me. Yeah, the families, any other Crip they ran into, them niggas was gonna get at you. No matter at the bowling alley, they little bowling alley.
Jola Bowl.
Yeah, Jola Bowl, that motherfucker's Jola Bowl, you know, they catch you up there. Okay. Bam, or downtown Inglewood trying to go to Big Five or ABS, A&B Sporting Goods or Ketchum Sporting Goods, get you some 5-on-1s and some Chucks, all that shit. You'll see them dudes, but you didn't see no other bloods. And then when I came home, when the homies told me about the Crenshaw Mafias and all this old stuff, I'll never forget the day Bogart, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, homie.
Walked up to me with a pistol and said, man, they told me to shoot you. And this is when I found out that there was a blood named Cochise and a nigga from YA that was in YA with us. They didn't tell us he was a Denver Lane. His name was Michael Perkins. He didn't ever tell us he was a Denver Lane. The whole time he's in YTS for about a year, he was there, you know. But the nigga never told us. But now he got out. He was on 102nd Street. He was on 102nd Street. And him, Cochise, and another nigga. I think Cochise was from 20s. That's what Cochise was from. He was from 20s, and Michael Perkins was the dude that was in YA with me. So this is in 80 when I got out of YA. They was, like I told you, the dudes was structured, it was going, and they knew what they had to do. So when Bogart and them approached me, I was fresh out of TS. And them dudes sent Bogart the bus on me. And Bogart, me and Skull, Gaylord, we told Bogart, give us that gun, little nigga. Bogart was a little boy. So I knew something was in that kid. That kid started running with us. He became a Raymond. He became a nightmare to Bloods. He became one of their thorns in their sides. And I mean that. 102nd Street, man, you can say what you want to say about 102nd Street, about 120, about Pasadena, but you can't sit up here and say that you motherfuckers was mashing us. That's what you can't say. And, my thing is, they spoke and said what they had to say, I got Baby Crazy over here. He original Tiny Locs from the Deuce. So he was during the 80s, the late 80s, he was dealing with
all of it.
I'm saying this jokingly, but my homies know what I mean. I'm the King Griffey Jr. of this shit. Wasn't no kids when I started gangbanging. I was the kid. So, I'm the bridge to everything that's going on right now. I'm the first Tiny Loc from Raymond, period. Wasn't nobody else before.
When we came down here, because I came from the east side, Matt came from the east side.
Right.
When we came to them Grandies, before us, they had some dudes called the Little Devils.
Uh-huh.
And they was beasts out here in Compton.
Right.
They was beasts in them Grandies.